Right, back to the diff. So that's all your parts. I've cleaned it all up nicely. This is a great little tool from FG. It's a very cheap little tool. I think £5 or something. Very nice and simple, but it makes the process so much easier. You basically just put everything on here first. Oop. Get it all on there, and then every tooth is perfectly lined up. And you think that's a simple thing to do without the tool? Trust me, it's not. You might be lucky and you might get it the first few times. Push this out of there, and that slides out of there, and your diff is done, and it's in there absolutely perfectly. Put the pin back in, hold it all together, and it all moves perfectly. You can be there for quite a while taking it in and out, if not. So yeah, that's an easy way to do it, really. And then we'll just get a bit of grease and lube it on the actual gears. Something like that there. I've got a reasonable amount in, you know, but nothing like what they were putting in. You just make sure all the gears have got a bit. That's all. Because centrifugally it will all just fly out to the edges anyway. So as long as it's got some on the gears initially, it'll be alright. If you're going to run the diff loose like this, then this is the way that I've always done it. Doesn't say it's the right or the wrong way, but again, it's just the way that I've done it. I never had a problem. And then when I add some thick diff grease, then I seal the diff up completely when you're putting it back together at every stage, so it doesn't leak out anywhere, with some special stuff that you can use for that. It kind of works to a point, unless you want to fill your diff up with earplugs like they do, the silicone earplugs, then that's not going to leak out, so that's another way of doing it. Or put the one-way diff in the front. Nothing's going to leak out of a one-way diff because there's nothing to leak out. So yeah, almost there. Screw that. Rotate that. Ideally, I need one of them. I never have a hand. I want one. There we go. Should have done this in the first place, make life easy. I must say, my splines on this one really don't want to go in there. Try another one. There's another one. These ones are different. I forget what they're called. GPN, GPR, something like that. I can't think now. Sort of aftermarket one. This is a genuine FG one from old. Yeah, that fits in there. A treat. Look, absolute treat in there. That's a lot easier to spread that grease around. But already you can see just by turning it like that, it's all kind of disappeared away from where you want it to be. It's all started to go around the back here already. So there's more grease than I usually put in anyway. So it ain't not bad, but yeah, lovely and smooth, that's what you want. Sometimes, again, where they remanufactured things, the diff cases were too small and it made it really tight in there. And there was a theory that if you just run it, it will loosen up by heat. It will distort. It's not really the way, but it will work that way. There was another way. If you take the gears out, you can just slightly sandpaper this side and this side and get it nice and flat. So maybe on a flat bit of wood, a bit of sandpaper in there or something, and just file off very little, and it will open up and it'll be free like that. I know that was a problem a couple of years back, 3 or 4 years back now maybe, and they do tend to tend to sort these things eventually, but sometimes we have to go through these problems until they do fix it. And that's the problem when you remanufacture everything, really. Okay, so this is the front diff, obviously, so yeah, let's line those holes up a bit better before we get on, or maybe we can get it on and round them up. Yeah, that's easier. So get that kind of lined up. You'll have one in there if you want to start the process. And then this needs to go in there, like that. Lovely. Again, get that nicely lined up. Beautiful. All that, and then lastly this bad boy. But if you were sealing it up in every stage, bit in there, bit in there, bit in there, and then some round the end cap there, and then maybe even an extra bit around there to seal it in. Otherwise it just will find a way out no matter what. If you're using the thicker greases that you can use, the 2 millions, the 1 millions of this world, it will find its way out. And it's mainly after you've used it and the car's sitting still like that for, you know, a week or so, sitting in the garage on the shelf, whatever, and you took that out, you'll find all at the bottom there is all covered in grease, and it's getting in these grooves, and then of course these grooves fill up. Let's have a slurp. These grooves fill up with muck and grease and all that sort of thing, which then holds the belt slightly away like this, and then the belt runs on the top of the top plate and then the bottom of the chassis as well, and you're offering resistance, which doesn't help the cause. So it's good practice to maintain these, take them out, get a little screwdriver or something in there, and just make sure they're all cleaned out. Obviously this is new, so there's nothing in there, but these fill up very quickly. They go little hard bullets, it makes them in there where it's compacted in by the belt. But yeah, all of a sudden you feel, oh, my car's not as fast as it used to be, and it's because of these sort of things. But yeah, a bit of maintenance. I'm not going to put any thread lock on these because we don't know what we're going to do in the future, and as we haven't got anything in there, we just do them up a bit like this, really, one at a time. There, a little bit, not tightening all the way, save that for the end, of course. Get it straight. Now, yeah, again, as I say, you can't over tighten these because you'll distort this, which is not good. But they do come undone sometimes, these nuts. That's why they've tried to do it the reverse way. But if we wanted that to stay in place, then I'd get a bit of thread lock and just literally run it around the outside there on each one. and that should help stop it unwinding on its own power. But yeah, happy days. That's all nice and free. It's actually one of the better ones that I've seen these days. But yeah, there you go, one diff.